Anything that is measured gets improved. At Bostonica, we say anything that gets improved delivers business excellence. Welcome to the Game Changers series of analytics. Boston International Institute of Certification and Assessments, the leading analytics, HR, and project management training institute and consulting organization, is proud to present Certified HR Strategy and Planning Analytics Certification. Today, indeed, we present to you this HR certification, analytics certification, which is going for the third batch. The HR certification, which is also analytics certification, is accredited from the Human Resource Certification Institute, with 65 credit, the highest credit so far. And this is also accredited by the Knowledge and Human Development Authority, Government of UAE. And of course, the certification, the analytics certification, is designed by the seasoned HR leaders, analytics leaders from across the globe. Today, we have with you, or for you, a panelist who are undergoing, and some of them who they have undergone this analytics certification, and also with the expert who is driving this analytics certification. Let me now introduce you to the panelist. With me, we have Abhijit. Abhijit is one of the renowned analytics consultant who has over 30 years of experience in analytics. He has implemented various projects, and currently he is involved in designing these game changer series of analytics in HR, sales, logistics, marketing, and you name it. And we have with us Engineering Bashir. Engineering Bashir is one of the renowned analytics professional from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He has been consultant in analytics, and he is quite a well-known figure. And Bashir himself has taken this certification called Certified HR Strategy and Planning Analytics, which is spread across or around 12 weeks with 4 modules. We have with us also Ms. Rajeshri, and Rajeshri is a chartered FCIPD, and she is also a renowned HR leader, and she has taken this analytics certification. And we will have a discussion today that how this wonderful certification, where everybody is talking about across the globe, has changed the way their approach towards the business, their approach to their profession, and how their thought process has totally transformed. So let me first welcome all, and let us hear a small glimpse from all of you that what all you are doing and how you are connected with the analytics. Bashir.
How are you doing this evening? Thank you for having me. My name is Bashir Hashim. I work with the government sector, and my main job is basically analyzing the data I have for the government sector that I work with, and coming up with decision support mechanisms for leadership to take decisions based on informed data or informed information, accurate information, to take a decision that would benefit the entity and the country as a whole.
Rajeshri.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, one and all. I lead the HR vertical in the capacity of HR director with a multinational organization that's operating across 15 countries globally. I'm also fellow CIPD. I talk numbers like EBITDA, bottom line, people costs, ROI, and design critically important people-related strategies. So thank you.
Thanks, Rajeshri. These are music to my ears. I love it. Abhijit.
Hi, my name is Abhijit, and I'm one of the persons who has designed this whole program. I have had nearly 20 years of experience in analytics and consulting. I would say analytics driven consulting because uh, all my suggestions, all my consulting life, it has been supported by numbers and facts. Uh, One of the reasons why I took a leap into designing such a course is I want to create a group of individuals who are pure strategy people, but with a affinity towards numbers and fact-driven approach towards running the business. And I'm quite honored to have award-winning HR professionals like Rajeshri with us and Engineer Bashir, who is doing analytics at the moment at a national economic level. So that's in itself quite a uh, objective and achieved what I have set out to. If I could have added value to what they are already doing, then I'm quite happy, and I would definitely welcome more professionals like them to join me in the whole process. So, Sandeep, how do we start?
Right. So back here to the discussion for the certified HR strategy and planning analytics. Abhijit, take us for a little bit broad overview of the course content. How does it look like? Is it only same like run on the mill kind of certification programs where you can do it online, or does it make people think? Is it thought leadership? What does it make? I've heard a lot about from Engineering Bashir, from Rajeshri, and a lot other people, that is changing their thought process, the way they have been, their approach towards the business, the approach to the profession has undergone a tremendous transformation. Tell us about it.
So, Sandeep, for the last 20 years, I love calling myself a disruptive manager who loves disrupting the ongoing things. And my intention was to bring in professionals from all walks of life and then disrupt what they're currently doing, the way they are doing. Hopefully, it helps because it has helped me a lot. So, the intent of the course was I'm taking it for granted that over the years, people have gained experience and have uh, transformed into seasoned strategy professionals. What a lot of us might have missed during our formative years was that numbers or analytics was not the core focus area. The competition was less. Over the years, things have changed in the market. Uh, with the growing competition, data has now become one of the most sought after resources. And as they say, the next World War would not be on the ground but on data. Uh, and indeed, I realized that data helps not only in forming a good strategy, but in convincing the stakeholders about what we are trying to present. So the whole course is divided into four key modules. Sandeep, if you can put the slide where we have divided that into four modules. So the last slide. So these are the four modules we are talking about. Uh, so the first and foremost module is to understand HR issues and need for data analysis. Although I have named the module as need for data analysis, every HR issue needs data. So because if you want to convince yourself and if you want to convince others, data plays an important role in putting a measurability to what we are doing, and that is the whole thing. So this module is the overshadowing module of all others. So this is what we are working towards. This is engaged with a lot of concepts and a learning from both sides. So as I'm trying to share what I have gathered through my years of experience, I'm also trying to learn from the HR experts who are joining the course. And in the process, we are trying to figure out that what we are doing, how numbers can enhance that process, how analytics can enhance that process. The second module is to understand data and relation among variables. So very, very often used terms. The problem is that most of us, because of the environment we are staying in or the discussions that is going on around us, we try to involve consultants from outside and they speak a language which sometimes seems Greek and Latin to us. And it is not that we need their language, it is they who should understand our language, and that's the gap that I'm trying to fill in. So CHPAs, I believe, should understand and speak the language of the data scientists. So we will talk about variables and data. Another enabling factor is performing an analysis is a tool. So we are using Excel as a tool. A primary reason is Excel is readily available. So whatever you get from data scientists in terms of data, so we are not getting raw data in most of our life. We are asking for IT to give us some sort of worked upon data. And the best tool to use is Excel. If we are fine with using Excel, then we can start contributing to the organization from the very moment. So we don't have to depend on the organization to acquire a separate statistical package or anything. We can start work. Fourth, and the most important part, and I think most of us are realizing now, that we are spending a lot of time in structuring an analysis. And when I'm talking about structuring an analysis, the first step becomes structuring a problem itself. So are we spending time enough to segregate the problem from the symptoms? Are we clear in our mind that what we are trying to achieve and how we are trying to achieve? Once we do that, the use of numbers become a lot easier. Then we are not trying to find what is hidden within the numbers, but we are trying to assure ourselves what we believe in is supported by the numbers. So that's a huge difference. So data miners or data scientists, they try to find patterns within the numbers. Sometimes these patterns are easily available and are very interesting, but it is equally frustrating if you're not finding patterns which are useful to us. So structuring a problem lets us understand what is it that we are looking from the data. And then it makes the game a game changer, as we say. So now when you're going and convincing people, it's a different ballgame. Yes, sir. You're on my mute. Sorry.
Abhijit, I have heard that in this certification program, a lot of positive feedback from HR professionals, HR leaders all across Middle East, Africa, Asia, and all across the Europe. I heard that you have incorporated the entire life cycle of an employee, since the day of joining till the exit, and also it involves the dashboard, designing dashboard, monitoring dashboard, measuring the entire dashboard, and linking that with the business. That is one of the very strong.
So there are 4 key parts to any analytics process. The first part is visualization or visibility of the business. So we are covering it through reports and dashboards, because whenever we start on a strategy mission, we need to understand what is the as-is status of an organization or a department that we are working in. And that is done best through the visualization process. The same visualization can be used for tracking some of the key matrices. The second part obviously becomes the predictive modeling and the diagnostic modeling. So we are covering the whole of the machine learning process from an application point of view rather than a doing point of view. Because when you're talking about HR professionals, I don't intend to make them suddenly data scientists. It doesn't add value to what they're already doing. What adds value is if they understand data science or machine learning, they will be able to apply it better or get utilization of the same from the team they are building. Now, normally HR is a 6 or 7 point process from attracting employees to retaining employees. Now, in the whole process, what we forget is that we tend to make the whole process very operational in nature. And rather than operational, the need of the hour is HR has to lead the strategic part of it. Now, if you want to lead the strategy part of the HR function, then there has to be a covering or overshadowing matrix that we follow, and that matrix comes from what is the expected lifetime value of the employee, and the whole HR department works towards maximizing that value that the organization derives from the employee. And that is where the concept of employee lifecycle management or employee lifecycle value management comes in. and that forms an integral part of the whole course, because I think that is how I bind the whole course together. So when we are talking about each function separately, there has to be a binding part of it, and that comes from the employee lifestyle value management. I think Rajshri would be able to explain that much better, because while talking, I know that she has taken a lot of steps towards that already. If I can add value to that through the course, definitely awesome. Because the whole point is, and that is the discussion, that how do you measure the lifetime value? I'm trying to figure out if we can form a strategy to measure the value.
Now coming to the next part, that the prerequisite for the course and for the certification program. As you know, this is one of the fantastic analytics course that has ever been designed, by the industry expert, the academicians, researchers, and the most important part is the consultant in analytics. So this is extremely a hands-on kind of a certification program. Of course, for any certification program, including this analytics certification, there are some prerequisites. So this certification program in analytics is not for a faint-hearted HR professional. I mean, to say faint-hearted means, people, who shy away from the numbers. And then now it's a game changer we're talking about. Game changer means you need to change the game, the way it was done from the traditional practice. Now things have evolved for the HR professionals to become number crunchers, to become number savvy, and all the people who would like to take this certification should develop that hobby or interest in financial numbers. I said that, Rajeshri, your numbers, the EBITDA, the budget, the P&L, that sounds, music to my ears. Never heard from HR professionals traditionally, because traditionally HR professionals have been, are not a problem solvers. They have been solution providers in the sense from the HR perception point of view, but the things have changed dramatically. And for this course, you need to be number savvy, you need to be business savvy, and most importantly, you should have the interest in number crunching, at least to the basic Excel level. Abhijit is going to, explain more on the certification program, and we will hear from Rajeshri and Engineering Bashir. But this is not for the faint-hearted HR professionals. So usually I've seen sometimes, the HR professionals taking the certification program and going with a lot of enthusiasm. Yes, we want to do analytics, and after 1 month of time, they say, no, this is not the certification I've aspired for. I need the concepts. Well, the concept is just 10% part of this analytics program. Rest are applications. This is what we need. We need some kind of exercise, some kind of the way where we can get our hands dirty, go to the analytics part of it, analyze the problem with the real-time business numbers, and see that how these numbers we can align it with the businesses. Because we all know that things have changed dramatically in the last 8 to 9 months, and we are from the VUCA world to a disruptive world, to the ruptured world, to the totally unstable, unstructured. You call it as many adjectives as possible. But as an HR leaders, as an HR professionals, now we are now again we have been put in the center stage of the entire issue. So we need to be totally number savvy. We need to be business savvy, and at least for the HR professionals, we have to be at least a managerial level to really understand the problem and align with the business. And you need to really get ready for the number crunching. So this is a basic, in a broad perspective, the prerequisite for this certification program. And I again am saying this is a game-changing analytics program. So if you are interested to become a game changer, you are welcome. Well, now,
To Rajshri, let me just begin by saying that there are no prerequisites for this course. What the way we have designed it is we expect people from HR backgrounds to join because the whole program is about HR strategy. Uh, and it would be better if you have at least 2-3 years of experience when you're joining this course. The second prerequisite is some sort of mathematics background at school level. I'm not talking about advanced mathematics, but programming is all about and how it is involved in data mining or data analytics. The whole purpose is that you should be open enough to understand the concepts and the usage behind your strategy part. That's it. You still remain at core a strategy person uh, with additional ability to analyze data. That's the main thing. Uh, I remember one anecdote, and it's a real life incident. We were attending launch of one of the HR software packages, and I won't take the name of the company. And during the process, they were explaining that how the software will make a huge difference in the way HR is practiced in the organization. And I asked the person who was launching the course one simple question that how do we know that this software has made an impact in the HR function? And the reply I got was that the company will help you design the template for measuring the effectiveness of the software. And I told him that, okay, you are asking a thief that whether he's guilty or not, and to prove whether he's guilty or not, he will always prove himself not guilty. It is not the responsibility of the company to tell me that how the software affects the HR function in my organization. It is the organization's responsibility to measure from their own experience that whether the software is making a difference or not. And that can only be done when you can bring measurability to your own function. And this whole course, one of the objectives is definitely that you will be able to measure your own functionality. Rajshri, you have been a leader in that. You are in the top management. You're already there. You have crossed the whole path. Now you are applying, and I'm quite happy to have both Rajshri and Engineer Bashir here because Rajshri comes from a top management HR professional side, and Engineer Bashir is from an overall management side. So he doesn't only have a perspective of HR, but the whole functioning of the organization. So it's an interesting combination. I would love to hear from both of you, starting from Rajshri, that what was your expectation from the course? What are you finding in reality? And you can be brutally honest with me. There is no harm. It's a continuous improvement process, as is in statistics, and we'll incorporate it.
Rajshri.
Sure. Now, to begin with the fact that I have been in this space and I've spent most of my working experience in many of the organizations that I've worked in, depending on strategies which are data-driven and analytical in methodology. CHPA as a course, I think we are almost half of the tenure of the program I've completed with Abhijit so far, doing the certification course. Obviously, there are certain insights that I do gauge personally when I'm sitting at a chair where we are trying to drive and influence business leaders to take people decisions which are based on data. Now, many of the organizations, including where I come from, the CEOs basically believe in vesting the people making decisions in the hands of the people, and as HR leaders, I personally believe that we as human resources form a part and an arm to support the people decision makers to make better people making decisions. And that is completely driven and possible by using data analytical strategies. Now, to give you a simple example is to look at current times, today's competitive economy. Now, a company's ability to attract, retain, and develop talented people is very, very critical. Yet, in most of the organizations, we end up basing personal decisions on emotions, instincts, and more political rather than data. Now, important decisions which are about talent end up becoming a black box calculation rather than data driven choices. Now, this course basically for human resources practitioners, be it any level, opens up an entire different channel for you to strategically position your data driven activities to influence business leaders to make right people making decisions. And it's extremely critical to ensure that every decision that is related to people is stated in the form or is presented to influence the right platform altogether. One of the few examples of storytelling or success storytelling that I would position is it's necessary when HR leaders are trying to influence business leaders to frame a positive approach while showcasing the strategies which are based on data as well. And to give you an example, to state that in a particular year, our attrition rate have been 25%, at 25%, which obviously sounds very negative to the business leader and the CEO, and it's very panicky situation. Instead of that, stating your decisions or what decision or strategy you're trying to influence for the business leaders, in framing it in a positive manner, to say that 75% of your people have been retained. That is also very, very critical. And this is what I've learned, or I'm so far learning through this program altogether. I do have many such experiences that I'm trying to gauge and develop as HR leader through this program. And obviously, like I said, I've been practicing all of these people making decisions based on people analytical strategies. Then I would like to also engage engineer Bashir to give and add his inputs around it. And obviously we'll regroup about the whole program and the importance of doing this course altogether for HR practitioners.
Engineering Bashir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sandeep. Thank you very much, Rajashri, for that introduction. Now, the most beautiful thing I believe about this course is when you start tasting, and I do mean intellectually tasting, what is analytics and what does it uncover? The hidden patterns in data is simply remarkable. I've worked with HR, and we started figuring way around reducing attrition, reducing late time, even reducing health insurance claims by simply activating the knowledge and the hidden data and the hidden patterns within the data. We found out, for example, a simple flu shot can save the company or the entity more than 25% of their lost time for sick leave. Most of the sick leaves come from flu-like symptoms, or sorry, not 25%, almost 15%. And an additional 10% was added when we analyzed hay fever season, whatnot, and we started educating the entire organization about how to protect yourself against issues that has to do with seasonal flu or seasonal medical conditions. And the results are there. You can see it almost immediately. Within a few weeks of implementation, the data says it all, and it shows patterns. It's just wonderful. The best thing about this course is how you take simple data and you find those patterns and you put it in a cohesive manner where leadership can understand it very easily. You present it very easily, eloquently, and in a very good manner that everybody accepts it. And there's a eureka point where everybody goes like, ah, that's why. Uh, the best thing, this is the best thing about the course. The most cumbersome part of the course is trying to understand the thought process. How do you come up with what you come up with? Why do you look at those data sets in that way? Understanding that process is the most difficult, honestly speaking, and it takes quite a bit of time. That's about the course, and believe me, it's wonderful. And I do recommend specialists and non-specialists to take courses like this and start understanding where the data come from. Thank you very much.
Engineer Bashir, what was the boring part of this course?
It wasn't boring as much as it was cumbersome. Going through,
Except me.
why do I look at this data set? Why do I look at that data? How do I approach those problems? It's that mentality. It's like when you're driving, after 10 years of driving, you start understanding that this guy in front of me is a but I need to slow down. It's that kind of thought process. Who are new? No, I'm driving in my lane. I don't know what this guy is doing, and you end up in an accident. And that's the most cumbersome part, is understanding the HR component and then trying to marry it with the data component. Up with a decision support system for HR on whether or not to hire this guy or whether or not to fire this guy. We had many incidents where people were underutilized, not because they're lazy, it's just because they have assessed that completely different than the position they're in. And all we did is change that position or found a good match. And I moved from a productivity of 60% to productivity of 80%. It's amazing. And again, the most difficult part for me was to understand the thought process between HR requirements, the business needs, and how to put them all into a data framework.
Thank you, Engineer Bashir. Now the next, we need to, I got a lot of queries from it that, is this course wants to make HR leaders a data scientist? That's
No. It has nothing to do with turning an HR into a data scientist. These are two different things. However, it will help HR understand data. And then when they come with a problem or they're facing an issue, how to frame their question, how to frame their value proposition, let me put it that way, or the problem in a way that data scientists or analytics people can understand and then use the data to answer those questions.
okay. Now we have got one question coming up. Rajiv Nilit, HR Director and Regional HR Manager, um, and he is an independent consultant also. So he has thrown this question, the comments, on a generic comments on the analytics. The analytics and tested data today not just provide the quantitative side of HR, but also transform the same into qualitative strategic information. Now, one can deep dive into various HR matrix with the help of data analytics. What I love about data analytics is that it can provide information at all levels. It is not just for the managerial level and above. The data inferences drawn can help the HR BP at the inception level as well.
This
How true is this
is
comment?
absolutely correct. Data analysis and data provides a tool to help decision makers understand what decisions they're making and the impact of that decision. You no longer have gut feeling or I think or something said. A very, very hardcore base to build your decisions on. And it's comforting. What do you think, Abhijit? Rajat? You're on mute, Sandeep.
Rajashri, your take on this?
Well, I absolutely I'm in sync with the inputs that have come in because HR analytics it definitely is used to provide various models to predict ways in which any company can gain optimal ROI on human capital, which is very, very critical. And it, like as rightly spotted, whether HR manager level or above, it really doesn't matter because it helps the human resources team to achieve a sense of insights and key data to ensure to manage the employee's life cycle efficiently, you know.
Thanks, Rajiv, for your comments. Yep, Abhijit.
So let me bring in one perspective to you. Have you ever imagined that when your CEO sits with the board, what kind of questions are asked to the CEO? It is never that how are your employees doing or are they keeping well. The most important question the board asks the CEO is what is the return on the investment we are making in the business? I think we should expect the same question the CEO should ask to the marketing head, to the finance head, and why not the HR head? It is a right of the CEO to ask the HR head that can you please explain me what is the return on my employees over the last 1 year, and is there a plan to improve that return on investment? Now, having interacted with a lot of HR people, I'm not generalizing, but there is a common fear of numbers within the HR community. The problem doesn't lie with the HR community. The problem lies with our maths teachers when we were in 4th or 5th standard, who have always presented maths as a larger than life kind of a scenario to us. So definitely one of the motives of this course is to remove that fear of numbers and present it as a friendly resource to all of us. The second is I cannot lay more importance on the importance of measurement because business is measurement. We can't escape it. Just imagine when you go to the Google and search for what are the roles of HR. It always starts with attracting the best employee. It never starts with planning and estimating the number of employees. Who do you think in the organization is responsible for measuring how many employees are needed? I think there the HR role starts, and you can only estimate when you understand the numbers behind the game. So, I think my esteemed panelist in Rajeshri and Sandeep yourself, you have led HR in multiple companies. Am I making sense or not? I'm not from HR, but this is how I perceive HR. They should be my thought partners.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. The gone are the days where the HR used to be, in the business of making employees happy. We are
Yeah.
not.
Absolutely. That's the trade unions
That's
are
a
there.
that's a bottom line we need to understand. Yes, of course,
True.
employee happiness is part of the HR business, but not the only business that we need to understand.
Absolutely. And because
Our
happy
business,
employees are more productive.
our business is most importantly is to make shareholders happy.
Absolutely.
That's what I will put it. You know,
Absolutely.
so if you are able to put your shareholders happy, then it puts a smile on everybody's face. It just puts a smile on CEO's face, a business head's face, and employee's face, and all. So what's prerequisite is we need to really understand the business, and I mean to say a real business. How does my operation work? How does my sales works? How does my marketing function works? What are the numbers that goes from my HR functions to the business? And how do I monetize my HR initiatives? And how do I create that bottom line impact through my initiatives, either to the organization top line or a bottom line? If you don't do that, and this platform is the CHPA platform is one of the fantastic platform wherein you can understand the entire logic, the entire science behind that, how you can quantify the bottom line of your initiatives, what kind of a structures you can create. Now, Abhijit, going said this, can you take us a little bit more on the analytics? I'll put the slides, CHPA.
So, this is one of the things we started the whole course with. What are the different hats I want a CHPA to don? And as we discussed in length, that we are definitely not just data scientists. We need to understand what goes behind data science so that we can use it. We are definitely business experts. One important thing the CHPAs would do is, because they understand the business and the data alike, they will function as the translator between the data analysts and the management. They will translate the business problems into data problems. You never start with a data problem and then try to find business benefits out of that. You always define the business problem first and then get something out of the data. The fourth is the coordinator between cross-functional. Now, coordinator means we need to understand that only data analysis cannot bring value to any organization. Say, for example, I find out that what is the level of employee happiness in my company and what is the target for my employee happiness, but there is a process in between. So how do I convert this data finding into a series of initiatives to be done within the organization? That is the most important role that CHPAs would play. They will design programs based on the data, and they will roll it out with coordination with other departments and also have a measurability of the success. Last but not the least, and we have had multiple discussions on LinkedIn, otherwise, that who starts the cultural change between experience-based business and database business. And I think HR is the best equipped because they are the only department who are in touch with almost all the other departments. They are responsible for employee training, development. They are responsible for the organization culture. So they should be the change agents within the organization. So this is the whole gamut of thing that we are looking at. And obviously, if you can go to the next slide, there is not one single role that is there. So people like Rajeshri or other engineer Bashir who are at the top level, so they would be the people who will be driving this change. They are expected to play the role of creating a roadmap, because if you don't have a database roadmap, then you can't take initiatives. The roadmap has to be followed by creation of the infrastructure, both in terms of systems, data, people, etc. Putting in place a team, processes, roles and responsibilities, etc. So that they define the whole culture of the organization. And then there is a series of CHPAs below them who are at a business analyst level or supported by a group of data scientists who are going to create this process of understanding business issues till rolling out initiative based on the data analysis so that we realize the value. And whenever we make an investment on database initiatives, we must remember every dollar should return $1.5. So if you are not doing that $1.5 calculation, nobody will approve the next year's budget for anything in the data part. So it is very, very important that the top management of the HR is cognizant of the fact that what are the low-lying fruits, what should be attacked first so that we can show real money to the top management, and then definitely there are initiatives which are investments which needs to be followed. So these are the broad roles, but again, I'm just suggesting them. I am talking to HR professionals who are extremely experienced. They will have their own idea of taking it forward. And I would definitely like to hear from our panelists that, how do they plan to take it forward, or how will they use data in their organizations? You're mute.
Yeah. Rajeshri and Engineering Bashir, I'll pose some questions to you with regard to the CHPA, and you have been to the course through this certification program, and in and out. If I ask Abhijit, it will be an injustice. So I need to know from the horse's mouth, what has been your experience, especially from the point of view of, for example, if the CHPA certifications is acquired, and then what impact, what kind of impact does it will have on the head of the department, what it will impact will have on experienced professionals, and what will have it will have an impact on the mid and junior level. So let me start from the senior level, the top management. If they acquire this certification, or if their team acquired this certification, so what kind of a game-changing transformation is going to happen with the head of the departments? Rajeshri.
Okay. Sandeep, to put it in perspective, during the entire course, the learning has been in such a manner where setting clear objectives, then breaking the data in, I clearly call it slicing the data further to run an analysis and draw conclusion, which is business savvy and commercially beneficial to the organization and the business goals, including influencing the department leaders in order to help them understand that there is an X amount of ROI in every single characteristic that is related to people function or people matters. To give you a straightforward example that I have faced myself during this course itself is obviously learning analytics is one thing, and then practicing and implementing in real time in your organization is another game altogether. But it obviously acts as it makes you as a change analyst, it makes you a better negotiator at the table in the boardroom, it makes you a better number driven leader who understands the commercials in the same breadth and length as though your finance department, as though your operations leaders, and more than anything else, we obviously drive the emotional component while we are inducing or trying to influence a better people making decision to the boardroom. Why I say so is because a finance head is obviously more driven towards the rationale of the costs in terms of either saving costs or or cost cutting, both ways. And when we speak of other business leaders, which is obviously the sales and marketing, is more driven towards bringing more revenue and trying to always outshine in the boardroom, because they wear the most critical hat of generating revenue. Now that's where people or leaders or people, HR leaders, strategic leaders come and play the picture, because we all know and understand one simple language. In any business, whether small or large, people are the biggest asset. And if your people making decision abilities go wrong for any given reason, the entire strategy that you're trying to play and plug during the boardroom to save either an X amount or to add an X or Y dollar onto the revenue will go for a toss. And that is simply possible if you understand the analytics or understand why this course and program is a value add. And it is a must have. This is what I believe and I practice in. So, yeah.
Thanks, Rajeshri. Engineering Bashir, you have been a consultant in various sensitive appointments across in Saudi Arabia. You are one of the pioneer in analytics, and you have delivered solutions based on analytics. Your basis is analytics. Now you have been through this transformation, and you know that Vision 2030 is there. A lot of initiatives are being launched all across Saudi Arabia. Um, the government is making each organization accountable. They want each organization to be result driven, KPI driven. Now, at this juncture, at this point, how you feel that CHPA, the program like a CHPA, CBA, analytics certification programs can really be a game changer for the functions which this newly created entity are in Saudi Arabia?
Well, to be frank and very honest, on a strategic level, it gives you the comfort, the ease of mind that whatever decision I'm taking has a higher potential to be correct, a higher potential to be applicable, and the ramifications of that decision is clearer to me. I'm not gambling. That's on a strategic level. Going down one level below, each department head can start figuring out how to run their own initiatives, their midline initiatives, in a more professional way, in terms of not professional as in conduct, but in a more uh, solid, evidence-based decision-making tactics, where those small achievements for the department, let's say, are clearer, it's easier to set, it's clearer how to achieve, and it's very, very, very unbiased to anything. You just go up to management, to top management, and say, look, this is where I am, here are the data, this is where I'm going, and this is how I'm doing it. It becomes non-arbitrary. Everybody has to agree numbers don't lie. Interpretation of numbers is different, but numbers themselves, they don't lie. So on a strategic level, top management level, it's an ease of mind that you can see a bird's eye view and you have a very good feeling about where we're heading. In terms of department heads or lower level than the leadership, top leadership, they have better understanding, better clarity on how to manage their own objectives to match the leadership and the organization objectives. Then you go down to supervisor level. He knows, with using data and analytics into whatever function he has, how to achieve his boss's objectives in a more clear way. And everything just becomes unbiased, well, almost everything, unbiased, clear, and just you just achieve it. It's no longer a matter of maybe and perhaps and oops. No, it's a matter of this is what the data says, this is how I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to reach. Anything that prevents me from reaching that objective has to be clearly defined, and everything else just falls into place.
One more thing, Engineering Bashir, just from you. I know that Rajeshri is, she has worked with most of the organization, the profit-making organization, where the investment is time and money. Now, from the point of view of government sector, do you feel that this analytics and the certification have the same relevance?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Cutting cost at government level is a top priority. And knowing how to cut costs, it's not just like do this and cut the budget. No, it's how do you plan your budget and based on what and where are the activities coming from and how to better utilize and how to better function your own organization, government organization, becomes much clearer, and things are more dynamic and more fluid than they are rigid and just standstill and based on people's opinion. I have data to back me up. And when I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, well, something else went wrong that wasn't taken into consideration within the data, or somebody didn't give me the full data, or but if you have the data, numbers don't lie. I mean, come on, they send people to the moon using analytics. They send people to Mars using analytics. They're not going to be able to run their organization using analytics.
Thank you, Engineer Bashir. We have got a couple of comments. One from Nitin Bansal, CPTD, and he is a training development manager with training development manager, and he says, "Great thought, where perceptions and emotions can be quantitatively assessed with the help of data." And the next one is Monsi Thomas, Senior HR Advisor with ACOM. HR analytics help to predict the changes that may be in the organization's future forecasting, and analytics enhancing the thought process of the business as well as HR. So I think that there's a lot of thought, a lot of undercurrent is going, analytics among the HR leaders. With this, we come to our next part, interesting part of a discussion. It's your Abhijit. Now, since we have got only 4 minutes, Abhijit, your take, about the course. What is the length, breadth, time, duration?
So it's a 12-week course that we have designed, and when I say 12-week, it's not 7 days a week. It's during the weekends. In terms of hours, the classroom sessions that we have designed is around 65 hours. It is a little stressed, so there will be few weeks which are tighter. There are few weeks which are more relaxed. It's a very discussion-based, input-based course. Obviously, not leaving the numbers behind. It's hardcore. We're driving the course through case studies with actual numbers, where we are trying to make sense step by step, till the level that we are rolling out initiatives as if in a real organization. So that I'm trying to simulate a real life scenario here. That's the whole course about. A simple example. So this week, Microsoft has taken a decision that most of the people who are working from home can keep working from home. Definitely, the traditional HR view of looking at it is that the company has done a lot for employee happiness index. But what we should realize is it makes the shareholders happier, because the amount of real estate cost the organization is going to save in the coming months is unparalleled, because you don't need so much of office space now. People will be working from home. But the next stage would be the productivity of the employees will go down, and the management will come back to HR and tell them that I want a work from home score, which can decide that who are the employees allowed to work from home and who are the employees not allowed to work from home. Now, all of us, after this session, should spend some time that how do we calculate that who are the employees who should be working from home and who are the employees who should not be working from home. Definitely, you have to include the lower management, because that's where the bulk of the employees lie. So if you can do it without using the numbers, then definitely you don't need CHPA. If you need numbers for this, then this is the course.
Thank you, Abhijit. Let's have a conclusion from all. Engineering Bashir.
I highly recommend top management to understand what is data, to understand how they can use it, and how they can utilize data scientists in order to understand even how to pose the question for data scientists to get the answer. So the 3 courses that Bostonica offers are maybe not required for all senior management, but it definitely, at least the first one, which is data analytics, it should be a must for all levels.
Thank you, Engineering Bashir. Rajashri.
In respect with time and retrospectively, I would say, and I would recommend to all the HR professionals that start building a better relationship with academics through CHPA course and program, then relying with consulting
Abhijit.
firms. So yeah.
You're mute, Abhijit.
You're on mute, Abhijit.
I think there is no choice. The software companies are working towards automating everything operational. So we will be left with jobs which are not operational in nature, more strategic in nature, and strategy cannot go without numbers.
Thank you so much, Abhijit, and thank you, Rajashri, and thank you, Engineer Bashir. As we said, anything that gets measured gets improved. And in Bostonica, we said, anything that gets improved, we can deliver to the business excellence. So thank you again. Thank you for being with us for the live wire of the Game Changer live wire. And I hope you got a perspective about the CHPA certification. The CHPA certification is one of the game-changing certification in analytics, which is spreading like a wildfire all across the Middle East, Africa, and all across Asia and Europe. You're welcome to know more about the certification. You can call Mohammed in the name contact number given, Cliffy at the contact number given. They will provide you all the details. And we hope that this certification will bring revolutionary changes the way you think about the numbers. So welcome again, and thank you again from all the panelists, Abhijit, Rajashri, Engineering Bashir.